I'm Sam.
I'm Lindsay.
Tell me everything.
Am I Sam and Lindsay on the mic? Tell me everything tonight. Oh! From the books to the screen and everything in between. If it's trending, we know. What's the tea? Let's go. It's a 306 flow. Tell me everything you know. Bring it to the show. Tell me what you heard. Yeah, every single word. Tell me everything. Tell me everything. Oh!
Okay, first of all, I want to get a little something off my chest about our last episode. Because we talked about conspiracy theories, and I know, if you know me and you know Lindsay, you know that we come from the media world originally, and used to be super tuned in. But since leaving the media world, I am not as tuned in. So when we talked about the moon landing in our conspiracy theories episode, and I said, why haven't we been back to the moon? Someone tell me why. And then a few days later, I remembered there's a Canadian astronaut named Jeremy that we've talked about a lot over the last year and a half. And do you know why we're talking about him? Do you remember why we talked about this man who's from Canada?
Well,
because he's an astronaut going to the moon.
Yeah.
So, as of the day we're taping this, today they went and lapped the moon. And eventually they're going to go back. It was a flyby to see what they can do. So asked and answered. That's how I'm out of the loop. Or my brain fizzled, perimenopause, we could call it that, brain fog. But the universe provided, and now we know we are in fact going back to the moon. So that's a little follow-up from last week's Sam Dum Dum moment. But still one of my favorite conspiracy theories because it could be true. It's probably not, but it could be true.
You sent me that link, like you texted me the link being like, P.S. we're going back. And I was like, that goes to show just how connected we are about moon stuff. So I felt super dumb because, I look up at space all the time.
I don't know everything. I'm humble enough to admit when I make a mistake.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro. You perfect?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Someone who I want to come at us with all the tea, all the good stuff right now. We want to thank our guest for today's show, Jillian Moore, who is joining us from somewhere tropical. That's how dedicated she was to saying, yes, I'll come on your podcast. Jillian, welcome to Tell Me Everything. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Or maybe it's because her calendar is overrun and she just says, yeah, you bet, let's do this. And then goes, oh, shit, I'm going to be in Barbados. But that's okay. We can make this work. They have internet. It's fine. It's fine.
Do.
Thank you.
The reason Jillian is on the show is her and I met many moons ago over a cat and over Realty. And since then, we have stayed in touch. She is affiliated with a company that is affiliated with the realtor I have in Regina. So we have a few things back and forth. Jillian is typically situated in the city of Saskatoon. Tonight, as she said, joining us from the tropical paradise of Barbados. But Jillian, I'm guessing that you're not talking too much about housing sales while you are lazing on the beach on holiday. Mm-hmm. Or are you still working while you're there?
Maybe a little bit, yes. Today I did have to schedule a listing, and I get in on Saturday and please, Air Canada, please get us home on time at 1:30 because I have a shoot at 3:30. So it's straight into it as soon as I get home. But so we're gonna, Air Canada's gonna pull it through and get us home we're just coming home from Toronto.
Yep.
So that should work. Yeah. Yep. But absolutely. You kind of got to do stuff. We got a sale last night, a firm sale came through last night. So you got to let people know. And I have a great team back at home putting up a sale sign and grabbing staging stuff and doing all that while I get to be here.
Okay. So I know your lifestyle. My stepmother was a real estate agent for many, many years, based out of Ottawa. And the one thing that I remember is even on vacation, those calls come in, baby. That's paying for the next vacation. Get in there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. It just never stops. And it's stuff, this gal today, we've been working on their house listing for years.
Oh,
So, now, so they wanted to buy a lot and build on it and get their house to a certain level of build before they could sell their house and move their family. So now it's like, we started this process quite a while ago. So to answer a simple call, no problem.
Yeah.
Doesn't take long. Yeah,
okay.
it's great.
I could ask you about how your boundaries are, but I feel like we already know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I
But
try really hard.
the
I
reason I
do.
wanted to bring you on is not only because Lindsay and I have both dabbled in the real estate market, we own our own homes. I may or may not be contemplating moving into a home in this bonkers market. It has been a
Yeah.
bonkers market in Saskatchewan for quite some time. That's actually how you and I had our first conversation. And it
Yeah.
hasn't gotten any better, has it?
No. No, it's gotten worse. Yeah, it's gotten worse. So
What's going on?
unfortunately.
What's your theory? What's going on? Why is there so little on the market? And how did we get here?
Yeah, this is how I sum it up to my clients. Yeah, we were starting to gain some ground from being a buyer's market, so a surplus of inventory in about, from 2015 to 2018. 2018, 2019, we were starting to get a little even, maybe even tipping a little over. I remember some staff meetings and us looking at the stats and being like, sweet, like we don't have to show 900 houses before someone will buy one. And then the pandemic happened. And to sum that up, I think we may have talked about this on another show back in the day, was people either hated their house or they hated each other. And so it was either, yeah, they were selling because the kids were at home and they were working from home and school was at home
Right.
and the house was too small. So they were for sure selling. Or people split up. Like I have friends who are divorce attorneys and they were nonstop working. So, that ate up a lot of it. And then we couldn't build as quickly. And then we got into that whole delay of, remember how hard it was to get lumber and like how much lumber ended
Supply
up being for
chain.
a while there.
Supply
Thank you.
chain, supply chain, supply chain.
So all the new builds were getting really delayed. So people were moving over to other builds, and then it just kept going. And then interest rates, remember, they're like $0 or 0% for a little while there. So a lot of people were upgrading, and yeah, it just all the little condos that were worth nothing back in the day, they all started getting eaten up because there was possibility to get into the market. So it just spiraled. And now the problem is that, yeah, the builders are building lots, but not everybody wants to live in a new build.
I, you
And
know,
good.
that's a really good point too, is that and one thing that I like hear about in the Regina market is like there's no more lots to like build right now either, specifically in the Regina market, or there's builds that are happening but they're being snafu'd up, and then people are like, okay, well we have some of these other homes. And some of the homes in like the established neighborhoods, at least in Regina, I'm not sure what Saskatoon is. I'm sure you could, give more detail on that. Like there's one really popular area in Regina, Douglas Park. I keep my eyes on it all the time because my husband and I have talked about wanting a home in that area before.
We've talked about that too.
Girl, some of these fucking bungalows are going for like $450,000. And I'm like, it's a fucking unrenovated bungalow.
1,000 square
what is
feet or
happening?
less. Or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Is that the same in Saskatoon, or like is it just like unique to certain areas?
Yeah, it is unique to certain areas. Like if you want to get into Nutana, Buena Vista, I don't know if you guys know those areas.
Yeah.
Like just nothing comes up in Buena Vista basically ever, and Nutana as well. Varsity View is a little bit of its own little beast, I think. But those areas, so people then spread out to like Haltane, Holliston, where those 50s bungalows, they're 1,000 square feet and maybe they're renovated, maybe they're not. I mean, then there's the north end of Saskatoon, River Heights, especially very, very popular. Yeah, we're just looking at 16 offers on a place, 8 offers on a place. It's pretty wild. I wrote an offer for some clients the other day. We didn't get it, unfortunately, but we were a little constrained on budget. But also, this house went for so much more. And oddly, my old clients bought that house, renovated it. I sold it. So I bought it, I sold it, and I had clients who wanted to buy it. Different clients, obviously. And I've heard that it went quite high. We'll see. I think it's still just conditionally sold. But it's
So
like,
when we do, the idea of a bidding war makes me ill. And also, I have noticed as I've been watching these listings come into my inbox daily, one, they sell within a day. they're conditional within a day, which is shocking to me. But the other thing I noticed is, as per the seller's instructions, all offers will be presented on XYZ day, which makes me not even want to bid on it. But then one of my realtor friends told me that because people are turned off by that, sometimes nobody presents an offer. And so what do you do in those instances? What advice do you give to your buyers in that case?
Well, it again depends on the house and the area and everything, because there are some that you see that, like, what you're going to see is sometimes people pick that top price and they do that presentation of offers, is what it's called. So it's instructed to us when we first sign up a listing, and they're saying, okay, we're going to list it on Monday and we're not going to look at any offers until Thursday, right? So everybody can go through and do all that. But depending on what it is, like the one we did the other day, that was a presentation. I knew there was going to be offers. So I was just like, guys, best kick at the can.
Yeah.
We'll write like the highest that you want to pay. We'll keep it as clean as humanly possible as far as conditions. Like, yeah, we're not going to not have our financing. They want a home inspection. Let's get a home inspection. Like, but I can organize it so it's all done. And then I include their pre-approval letter. They wrote a nice little letter to the family because they're a nice little young family. And yeah, so you just try your very best, and you also call the agent and you're like, hi, how are you? Oh my God, it's going to be so busy. Just try to like brown nose a little bit and get, hopefully, like, I've been doing it a long time, so I have good connections.
Right.
It's hard when if like flip the switch, I'm on the selling side and I get 10 offers from agents I've never heard of. And I'm like, because there's a whole other
But what if
aspect
you're
to
the
it then,
buyer
too.
and the seller? Because that can happen. How do you square that round? Like, you want to get as much money as you can for your seller, but you also want your buyer to not overpay or overpromise.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like to double end. It's called double ending. I don't like to do double ending when it's a presentation of offers. And mostly it's for my reputation in the industry with other agents. Because if I'm the one that gets to see all the offers, and then I'm supposed to be like, what do they call it in law? Like Chinese wall or whatever. Like, you're supposed to have this wall of secrecy between what you know and advising your clients, but you obviously want to win. So for me, like, you're obviously a competitive person, you're in this industry. So I usually, if I'm the selling agent, I usually pass my leads on to one of my good colleagues and then like let them deal with it. But not everybody does. And the reason why I was saying this for reputation, just to bring it back, is because when that sale goes through, I can see the selling agent and the buying agent. And if it's like me on both sides, like, oh, what did that happen? Jeez. So it looks kind of sketchy.
So I'm curious about this then. You've been real estate agent for 14 years, I believe?
Yep, about that.
Give or take, something like that.
No, that's right.
When it comes to some of the houses that you've been in and everything like that, I want you to think back to the one house that you walked into and went, well, that's interesting.
Like, that was a choice.
Was
That's
it
a
like
choice.
was it like a I need to know. Did we have like a sexy room? Did we have a murder room? Like what vibe were
Clown
we getting?
collection. I've seen the clown collection house in the States.
Come on.
Dolls.
Like, dolls. Give it. What was it? What was that? Oh, okay.
One is so hard.
Okay, then give us your top three.
Oh.
We'll take your top three.
Yeah.
Okay,
top
we'll take
three, but I
just
want-
a few examples.
give it rapid fire.
Okay, I love the boudoir photos that they leave up. You're like, you must have known better. Like, do I need to see you naked, middle-aged old lady in your bedroom? Yeah, my clients definitely had a hoot with that. I was in one that was like, honestly, it made my soul feel gross. Like, I walked in and I was just like, this feels bad. And I was taking this young woman in to buy her first house. She was here to go to university. It's not that rapid fire. But anyway, went downstairs. There was still someone sleeping in a bedroom. That's always frickin' creepy because you walk in, you're like, oh God, sorry. Like, you just, what do you do? He's like, I'm so sorry. And then the next day, I got a call from the cops with the drugs and gangs, and they were like, "Hi, we saw that you opened this lockbox, and there was like a murder at this house. Wondering if you saw anything weird." I was just like, I knew that felt horrible in my
Just
body, like
bad
it just was
vibes.
bad vibes in that house. Um, Oh my God, you guys, I can't. Sometimes it's just stuff like this little old lady upstairs. Go downstairs, there's a suited house. Go downstairs, there's like a 3-foot bong on the floor and stuff. This is before weed was legal, like when it was, no one cared, but like, this guy's just ripping bongs in the basement and some little 80-year-old lady's upstairs. Like, smells funny. There's always skunks in our yard.
Three.
I
What's the
don't know.
weirdest collection you've come across? Because people collect things. What's the weirdest collection you've come across? Or the most common?
I don't
I mean,
know.
those might be the same, they might be different.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I can't think of any collections per se. There's always the classic spoon collection on the wall. Um,
Dolls?
I don't know. I haven't even seen. Oh, I know. I have to remember all these things. One time, a gal had a lot of stripper shoes. Like she was definitely on a foot fetish. I opened the closet and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like those ballerina ones and lots of platforms. She had like rows and rows of them, and it was just a little 1920s bungalow house. So I just didn't expect it at all. I'm like, okay. And another time I walked, I was showing, thank God it was friends. I was showing them a house, a condo in the North End. And I opened up the closet and there was a huge stuffed tiger. I was just like, oh, the guy's just like, oh my God. And just facing me, like at my height, huge. I shut the door and I was like, you guys, come here. Come here. Open the closet, please. And they were just like, what the fuck? Like, I've never seen that. So that was good. Yeah. I mean, underwear on the floor when you knew there was a showing, just all kinds of weird stuff.
Okay. So we got the weird stuff then. Like there's lots of things I know that people can do or people do to make their house what they think is more appealing. What things are people doing that is a waste of their time? Like it's not going to help you sell your fucking house. Like why are you doing this? Don't do it. And what are the recommendations that you have to anyone who is like, listen, like I'm ready to sell and I like, what do we got? Worst things that people do, best things people can do.
Yeah, good questions. I would say don't take on huge projects. Like, don't go and renovate your kitchen for this. And like, I think price it right and let people renovate the kitchen because whatever you do, you might be like, hey, I'm going to keep it simple. It'll just be white and like light countertop, blah, blah, blah. And then someone's going to be like, oh, I really like color. And then they're going to think, well, this is just newly done. So I feel bad taking it out. So let's just move on to some other house. Like often people are like, should we renovate the kitchens and the bathrooms? Because that's what everybody here brings value. But not necessarily, especially not when renovations are so expensive. And so you may as well just price it lower, get what you get out of it, like factor that into your cost and then do that. And then best things, if it's summer and that, let's take care of that yard, make sure it looks really nice outside, just simple mow. You can get those weeds down, it'll look like grass.
Curb appeal, baby.
Curb appeal, clean your windows, clean your gutters, a lot of cleaning. When you walk into a house that's dated as can be, like we're talking olive green or like avocado green appliances and purple
Pink bathtub.
tub and stuff. Yeah, those can be gorgeous if they're clean. People will see past that and be like, okay, we can renovate that over time. We can do that. But you can have a brand new house. Like I've been in houses that are a couple years old and you go like, what did you do here? Just rode this thing hard and never ever cleaned it. It's greasy and grimy and nobody wants that. So definitely cleaning your windows. Fresh coat of paint, that does wonders. Neutral. Fresh coat of neutral paint. I know you don't want to live in it maybe, but it will then be like a nice blank slate, right? For people.
The number of houses I have seen lately with like royal blue wall in one room, lime green in the next, orange in the next. And I'm thinking, one, like your energy exhausts me. Like going from room to room where you're just like, whoa. Well, like every single room. Your room, that's a teal wall, Lindsay. That your whole house isn't
Very
like that.
pretty. It's not like Oilers blue and
No,
orange,
it's
and then
like
another room's
every
like
single room is
yellow.
For
just
anyone
like,
who's only listening to
bam.
audio, they're not going to know what just happened.
Oh, she's a bright teal wall behind her. Yes,
Yeah.
bright teal wall behind her. And I get that for like accent walls, but I'm talking about like you've painted the whole room like the reddest shade of red, the brightest shade of orange, like, and because colors do give you an energy, right? But
Totally.
you exhaust me. You people exhaust me. I have to say that.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
Should
And
those
it's-
people cover up that energy?
Yeah, yeah. I think I see those and I think, I mean, not to yourself, be as energetic as you want, but when we're selling your house, this is business and we're doing it to appeal to the masses out there. Try to get the most people in, to try to get the most offers, get you the highest money. So I guarantee you, like I always do a staging consultation with a professional company because I just put it on them and they know best what the place should look like, but it's on them then to advise that. But I really back them up. I've had clients who have been adamant, like, nope, our house is great. Our colors are beautiful. And I'm like, okay, great. Like I can think of one specifically right now. And then it didn't sell and didn't sell. And it was recently priced good, nice spot, everything. And they said, okay, we'll paint. And it sold like right away. So it's on the realtor's job. It's the realtor's job to tell their clients, hey, these are things that you should do. Like you don't just walk in and say, here's how much it'll be and pay me. Like give them some value there. Tell them what they should do to sell their house. So yeah, I agree with Sam.
Like, in those vibrant houses too, I find that those colors show the most flaws.
Oh,
When you're like, that's
Absolutely.
terrible drywall. Why can I see the screws or the seams or all of those things? Like they're much less forgiving too.
yes, that's a very good point. I should have said, but yeah, I agree completely. The darker the walls, the harder it is to hide any imperfections. So yeah, white walls will hide everything.
Okay, here's a debate that I've had for a long time, and like, not planning on selling my house like anytime soon. But if a house does come up in Douglas Park that isn't a goddamn bungalow and doesn't cost $450,000 for like 1,000 square feet, popcorn ceilings. Is that still a hotly contested thing at this point?
Yeah, Sam, I felt like you have serious opinions on this. What were you going to say there?
I have,
groaned.
so in my space right now, we have a popcorn ceiling. You know what else we have? Badly placed seams from the person before us. So if we fix it, we are forced to scrape the entire ceiling down and do the whole thing. The thing about popcorn is it hides imperfections. You cannot do a smooth ceiling unless you know a good drywaller, because otherwise you will see every ripple and shadow and everything else. I live with one. He will tell you if you have crappy drywall. So don't ask him to look at your ceiling if you don't want an honest opinion.
I
So
better not
I
ask.
live with this.
You've been in my house, Sam. I know you've probably seen the seam. He's probably pointed it out to himself and been like, what a shit seam there.
Well, he did the drywall in your addition, did he not?
Yeah, no, and see, those are flat ceilings. He did a beautiful job. But I say this just because, like, specifically, you know,
I hate
I
it.
wonder
though.
if
I
it's
hate it.
hotly contested, Jillian, just because I have one, like, room in my house that had a crack, had popcorn ceilings, and I'm like, dope, how do we fix this absolute disaster? This is going to be a nightmare. And this guy came in, he's like, I'll just scrape off that one spot, and then I got more popcorn. I'll respray it. And I was like, cool, is there asbestos in there? And he's like, you're not going to be in here to find out. And I was like, cool. Under the table? Sure, no problem. Sounds great. So
Yeah.
we didn't do, like, the testing or anything. But I wondered, I was like, do we just scrape it? Like, is it worth it just to scrape it at that point?
Yeah, you're never going to. Did you find that you patched it well?
I mean, it's right underneath a beam, so I'm not surprised. I know exactly why and where it goes. And part of the problem is that we installed some lights after we had the ceiling replaced, and we had someone like crawl into the rafters, put weight on that beam, cracked it again. So I'm just like, you know
Yeah.
what? I was thinking about putting up one of those styrofoam fake wood beams right across it. You know. Anyone who ever buys my house in the future, if that does appear in this house, I apologize. Kind of.
Not really.
But you knew about it,
That-
so that's on you.
Yeah, you disclose it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very divisive, and maybe it's just the era I grew up in, but it doesn't really bother me. Like, but people certainly will make that comment quite often, like, oh, popcorn ceiling. Like, and my point is sort of what Sam said. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to make this in all the different angles and all the different light that you're gonna see during the day, in the evening, the sunset? Like, to make sure that you don't see seams running along that. That's why builders to this day, they'll put it up there and they just do a skim coat to do a knockdown on it, right? So it's
Ah.
more of an orange peel texture, but it's still kind of flat. Like, it's really hard. Unless you're in a room where there's zero natural light, then you're probably going to see a seam up there,
It
right?
just feels like the 80s to me. I know it existed before then, and maybe it's just
I
because I
know.
grew up in the 80s and this condo I live in was built in the 80s. And so I feel like I want something more modern and that sleek look. But at the same time, it is not a deal breaker for me. Like if a house
Yeah.
that I like was full of popcorn ceilings, Mama is not getting up there and scraping down every ceiling before she moves in. That is not going to happen.
You know what? So if it hasn't been painted, what they do is they wet it and then they scrape it
Yeah.
and it just comes right off. But if it has ever been painted, apparently there's a really good, I know some people that just did this, sander that has a bag attached to it and you just keep running it across and it just sucks it all into the bag. So
Okay.
that is an option out there.
So Sam brought up a good point then here. What are some of the most insane deal breakers that people have had, like for their prerequisites for their home? Like, what if they come at you with and they're like, I can't have this? And you're like, well, tough shit, that's going to happen.
I don't know. I must get pretty reasonable clients,
Okay.
honestly. That is not, it's not super juicy, but people will want this laundry list of things that in some really hot neighborhood. And they're like, and I want a double car garage. And if it could have a suite. And if it could this, and renovate. And we don't really want to do any work. And also our budget's 400,000. And you're just like, I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Click. Like, I just, that's not even going to work. It is not possible. So it's more so like keeping people's expectations. But as the market becomes busier, there's a lot less of that, like must haves, unless they're looking for a very expensive home. And if they are, when they're looking for very expensive homes, they want certain things and they're probably more likely to get them in that situation.
Let's talk about those luxury homes. I mean, the thing that's crazy is there was a time that buying a home for $1 million in Regina or Saskatoon was like luxury. And that's not the case
Oh,
anymore at all. That is an expensive home, but that is not by far considered necessarily a luxury home because housing prices are so bonkers now. What price point? And I do follow some realtors here in the city that deal with luxury clients, and I just love to like pretend that someday I could. I would never. I don't want that much house because you have
yeah.
to clean it. Though I suppose if you can afford
No,
that
you have
house, you can afford
cleaners.
a house cleaner. Exactly. But what price point is considered a luxury home now in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, I think that there's still that $1 million price point or so. Like you can still get a pretty lofty house. But it's just that there's so many more of them now. It used to be really exclusive, right? There would only be like one or two in a neighborhood. Now it's like everything out there and it might be dated and it needs work or if it's a new build that's like that or at a golf course, like you've got to do all the outdoor landscaping still. So you just tack on a few extra $100,000 onto just doing that kind of stuff. Like it is pretty wild that yes, I still feel like $1 million home is expensive. Also, you have to pay a little bit different amounts when you're getting up into those higher price points, like as money down and stuff. So you're not putting 5% down on $1 million house. But like you probably could have a few years ago. But yeah, anyway, it's still that price point, but we are certainly seeing a lot more of them, and we're seeing a lot more in the 2 millions and like 3 million, where you're just like, what? 3 million? If I had $3 million, I don't want to buy someone's old house. Like I want, I want to build my
Yeah.
house, right? And I want to pick where it is, and yeah,
Yeah.
So,
So
go
go ahead,
on,
Sam.
Linz. No,
No,
go.
no.
Oh
Okay.
no, we're gonna
I
fight.
wanted to know. Okay.
Lindsay, go.
Go.
I asked this, and I hope he doesn't listen to this, but we'll find out. Okay. So, my brother-in-law, he is a home builder, and I know he's selling his home like right now in Regina. His house is Immaculate.
Looking it up.
It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous home. One of the things that he has in his home, like in a 4-season extra room, which like is phenomenal. His home is up towards like 2 million, like at this point. Is like a 4-season home with a hot tub in it and everything. Is that still like a hot commodity to have the hot tub like inside the home? Because his
Or a
and
pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like those little accessories, right? Because I know so many people who are like, oh, I have a cabin, so I just like go to the cabin. Like, what is there demand for like those hot extra accessories like that? I know for him, like he uses that room all the time because he loves it. But like, is that something that people who are willing to spend a lot of money on a home for are like looking for? What are these really rich people looking for in these fancy homes?
Yeah, very good question. I do not see indoor hot tubs or indoor pools being super popular.
Yeah.
There have been a few, and I have been in them. And to me, like my grandparents had a hot tub in their back room when I was growing up, and it just smelled like chlorine all
The whole
the
house
time.
smells like a pool. Yeah.
It smells like a pool.
Yeah.
And I just think, oh, the mold. Like all that extra moisture just floating around all the time. I'm just like, oh, the mold that is going to be in these walls. So I don't know. I mean, I know there have been some that recently have sold that have been indoor pool. But I don't think it's anything that a lot of people are putting in.
I need
Go
to
ahead.
preface this really quickly.
Sure.
My brother, being a home builder, he's an excellent home builder, and he made sure that there was no mold or anything. So if you do find this home in Regina, know that it is protected extremely well. He did an excellent job at building it, and you will love it. And
Yes.
I better get a cut of the sale if this sells.
Yeah.
after this,
Disclaimer,
okay?
disclaimer.
I have disclaimer. I have no knowledge. This is no reflection of that
This is
home
for every
specifically.
other home out there that not his, but like every
Yes.
other one. You know.
So
All
then
the other ones.
we're talking
Well,
about
I
like,
think-
so is it outdoor pools? Is it square feet? Is it stories? Like what makes a
Yeah.
home worth $3 million then if they're not putting a pool inside of it?
Totally. I would say that, okay, let's say if it was me looking for it, I want like a secondary kitchen area that's like a butler's pantry, having some extra stuff, or like a huge walk-in pantry in my kitchen, maybe 2 islands. That's very cool these days. I wish we had done that in our renovation. A huge closet. Like we got to have a nice ass closet. A very nice bathroom. Definitely 2 sinks. Absolutely. I'm not a bath person myself, but if you like that, like a standalone bath and a big shower, not just like a little corner shower. Fairly substantial kids' rooms, I think. People get hyper focused on their kids being little, and I always have to just say, like, they will be teenagers one day. So when they're
will
bigger,
grow.
they spend a lot of time in their rooms. So probably having a nicer room. I have a girlfriend in Calgary. They have bathrooms for each of their kids in their house, and they have a very swanky house. So I think that's super smart, because I know our kids when they were teenagers, they're now early 20s, but they were it was like, well, I'm lying. They still fight over the bathroom. Like, no, it's her turn. It's their turn. They left their shit in there. Blah, blah, blah. They never clean, So just like, here, if I have $3 million, you're each getting a bathroom and you clean it. I'd say a nice open big basement. I would love a gym in my house, a little wet bar or like nice little glass wine storage area. Yeah.
Oh,
Sound
you're
good?
speaking my language. I don't have money
Right?
though, so this is
Yeah.
bullshit.
So
I'm just making it up.
Are people competing for these houses? Like we talk about the offers being presented for like the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 homes. What happens when like a $2.5-3 million home goes up? Is it offers are presented? Do you get a private tour? Does it come with champagne? Do I have to take my boot? Like, are there boot protectors? Like, what happens with the showings of these luxury homes?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just pulling up to see what we have days on the market on these. So, oh, that one was relisted. I know that. So you know what? They're not on the market all that long. A lot of these houses, considering the price point. One at Greenbrier, well, that was on 150 days, but it was $2.1 million. So it's going to take this right person to do it. So, I think when you're up into those, if it was like a beautiful mid-century house, because everybody's into that vibe these days. You have a beautiful mid-century house. It's got the right renovations. It's got a river view, a big backyard, all that. You might actually do a presentation of offers on that house. because that's very unique and it just has to be like perfect. But otherwise, I think there's certain price points, like you said, you're right, that when you get to that certain price point, unless it's like a unicorn out there, you're going to just put a straight up listing, no presentation. And just because you're only appealing to a smaller share of the pie, right? There's not that many people that can afford that price point. So we've done ones in the 700s and 800s, but again, very unique, beautiful properties that like there'd be 2 or 3 people clamoring for. So you want people to have time to go through it a little bit. That's kind of the point of the presentation too.
So I'm curious then. You'd mentioned this earlier with like some of the sketchier agents that may or may not exist out there. We won't point fingers.
May or may not.
blame.
May or may
I
not.
mean, this all hypothetical
not.
questioning.
Probably not.
What are some of I'm curious, what are some of like the sketchiest things that you've seen people do with their homes that like they're like no one's going to notice this, and then that inspector comes in, they're like, "What the fuck were you doing?"
Just move that couch over the hole in the floor.
Yeah, right. That's a sinkhole.
Yeah.
No big.
Yeah. There's actually no flooring there at all. That's perfect.
Blood
Okay.
stains, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, honestly, well, I've definitely seen people do renovations where the basement has been cracked, like have a horizontal crack in it, which we didn't know. We saw it and we were like, okay, this is a flip, but a flip is fine. That's kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap being a flip, but someone's done the work. So, hey, there you go. You can move in. It's gorgeous. Yeah, they're going to make some money off it. But anyway, one we did, I remember that years ago, we even had they had bought it through the same agent. And I think that the basement was unfinished because I remember, and I had gone to high school with this agent. So I've known him for a while. And I was like, hey, did you know anything about all the horizontal cracks in the basement? Which means that the foundation is pooched, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's horizontal, like there's zero flex with concrete. So it's like broken. And it's not distributing the weight load properly, and then it's not good. So we had to even have an engineer come in. He checks. He's like, yeah, all these walls are cracked, like all of them. So even if I'm not recalling correctly and it wasn't finished or wasn't unfinished, they took all that off and then they put drywall up. So they knew. And so when I said to him, like, hey, there's like, sorry, we're walking on this deal because this basement's pooch. He was just like, what are you talking about? What? So that's pretty sketchy. Yeah, not good.
Wow. And like structural things are such like I mean,
Okay, so talk about the bad things then. Like,
Yeah.
what are the things that are like no-goes that if you walk into a house with your client and something maybe hasn't been disclosed, but you see it right away, you're just like,
Yeah.
"Nyeh," and you're like, no, we're done. I'll tell you outside why. I don't want to make a scene, but this is why you're not buying this house.
Yeah, definitely structural issues. So we can do things like a trick that a home inspector taught me is you go and you bang the wall in the basement really hard if it's like a normal, and it might sound like glass running down inside or like sand running down. So then you know the basement's like crumbling from between, right?
Oh,
You
oh,
bang
that's
it
a hot
really
tip. I didn't
hard.
know that.
because the
Yeah,
concrete
I
will
often
fall.
forget to. Yeah, you'll hear like shoosh, like like sand in an hour, like or I don't want to say sand
okay.
through the hourglass, but so that definitely that's not a good one. If we see the basement walls are built out really far, like not just your standard few inches, but it's built out far, it's probably trying to accommodate for a crack in there, and then they got to put a 2x4 and then drywall over top. So you've got these really thick basement wells. What else? Stains on the ceilings. There's something's leaked. That stuff's a dead giveaway, especially if it's the older like paper tiles in the older houses. Those
Yeah.
like little square ceiling. You can see a lot of stains on there. Bad windows. Like people leave they put like Venetians and then curtains, and then it's all winter and there's just like water building up. And the other day I showed a house. There was dead bugs on the windowsill.
Ugh.
I was like, girl, it's winter. Like those have been there since last year. They wanted like $600,000 and a presentation, and the house was filthy. And my
Fucking
clients
clean
were
your
just
house.
like, "Yeah,
What the hell?
don't. Are you kidding me? You can't wipe your windowsill of dead bugs before you knew people were coming." I don't know.
I did
just thought,
hear that
okay.
realtors will check baseboards because if your baseboards are clean, you know that they clean the rest of the house. Because
Well,
the
that's
baseboards are
true.
usually the things that people ignore
Miss.
or like leave. So you know if they're clean that they've probably been taking care of their property.
Bathroom fans. Bathroom fans. People never clean their bathroom fans. Go look in your bathroom fan and be like, oh yeah, it's full of dust. Take those little spring-loaded things out, wash them up, put them back. Looks like, oh, okay, well, they do that. Clean your furnace filter, like change your furnace filter. I usually say to people, like, if this house is this clean, they probably also remember to, clean their gutters and change their furnace filter and do all the things you should do for maintenance.
So, I'm curious. At some point, you must have seen this clip. I can't remember like what TLC show it was, but it was one where like it was like trying to sell a house or something like that, and it was this lady, and she was like, "I do these extra little things, like try to sell the house, like to make it seem as though the house is freshly painted. I just like buy a tiny quart of paint, pop open the lid, and put it under the bathroom sink so it smells like fresh paint."
Gross.
What?
Like I remember watching this, and I was like, the fuck is this lady doing? A great tip I did get from someone, if you're worried your house like might smell like a little weird because you got pets or something like that, is essential oil in the furnace filter to and turning on the fan. But are there any other? When I saw that lady doing that, I was like, this bitch is gonna make people think that they just painted, and she's just waving around fresh paint.
It's like fresh paint candle in the corner.
TM.
We should do that.
Yes.
TM.
There you go. If you could sell those.
I'm going to put my name on it, and it's going in all of my people's, their gift baskets
Oh my
for when
God.
you sell.
When you're ready to sell, light this candle. I'll come to you. It's like the bat
Paint in
signal.
part of the house, fresh cookies in the other. You got to
Yeah.
get the
Yes.
the homie
Wasn't
smell
that
with the paint
American
smell.
Beauty? Was it American Beauty where she would she was there baking the cleaning, because she took all her clothes off and was cleaning the whole place and doing everything. But I mean, it never
Are there other
hurts.
things that
But
people do?
what they do to hide things? Oh, those Scentsy candles were so hot when I first started. Oh, those wax burner things. And I showed so many houses back when I first started. It was always buyers. I would have a pounding headache by the end of the day from that. And yeah, air freshener things. I'm always when I smell any essential oils or anything, okay, where's the cat pee? What's happening in here? What else? I have seen some very interesting staging. I do try to take photos of them because I know it's the agents who've done it actually.
Say
And
more.
it's like a card table, like an old school card table with just a couple figurines on it and a doily. I'm just that doesn't help. No, that's not giving perspective to the space. Or a lawn chair, just some shitty things thrown in there. Dude, we make the same amount of money. You could call the staging company and get them to come in and at least advise them. It's just so bad.
What about curious then? You're talking about staging, AI staging. How do you feel about that?
Yes. Yeah, we have to disclose that now. Girls, I'm going to share a very sweet listing with you after this is done, and you're going to look at it because it was brought to my attention. It is not in Saskatoon. It's in a different community, but I don't know if I think it's the owner tweaked the photos. Anyway, they've just added, tweaked the photos, and I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. So I'm going to keep this very general because it is currently on the market, but it has Disney character. And then in the dining room, it has a floating lady from Mary Poppins and a guy. And then and another one. I'm not shitting you. This got sent out and I was like, what is happening? So the reason why I thought of that is because I said, do you think they have to disclose that this is AI because you don't want people expecting Linus at the keyboard? Yeah. What? Where's the Mickey Mouse character? I came here
She's
specifically to
real.
meet this
This
Peanuts
house comes
character.
with Mary Poppins?
Snow White just
Like-
making a pie with a bunch of dwarves hanging out in the bedroom with her. It got weird.
You just wait. There's they've AI'd in some people at a card table again, playing cards like a family. This is the games room. I'm that is so weird. But yes, AI staging. And if it was legit AI staging, I'm not really a fan because the point of the staging, yes, for the photos to give some perspective. That's why sometimes there might just be a chair in one of the bedrooms, right? It's not going to bring in bedroom set for everything, but at least it gives you some dimension. But then you go see it in person. And I remember showing a couple, this wonderful couple a few years ago, and they were just like, I feel like we've been catfished. Like we saw it online. It looked so gorgeous. We got there and it was beat down, first of all. Like they didn't paint, they didn't clean. And it had looked so nice with the AI staging in it. So we do have to disclose that now. It should always be in the photo itself. Like to say that. But yeah, it's not great because you want to go there and you want to see it.
Yeah.
There is one in the city here that's come back on the market a few times, and I reached out to Bryn to ask, like, what's up with this one? And, like, had them reach out. And it is a case of it looks great in photos, but you can tell they DIY'd the heck out of their renovations and that they priced it like the photos, but they didn't account for the fact that anyone with taste will probably have to redo them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
I
leads
hate
me to my
DIY.
question about pricing. How do you price a house, Jillian? How do you know what a house is worth? And do you price it based on, like, I know that we can probably get this much? Because everyone used to offer like 10 grand under and you'd meet in the middle at 5. Like there was kind of a method to the pricing madness where like you'd ask for a little bit more and you might get a little bit less, but you'd still actually get what you wanted because you asked for more. But when you're in this era of presenting offers and people paying $50,000 over asking with no conditions, how do you price a house?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one that gets shot around the office lots because we'll see these, we see what it comes up at and then we see what it's sold for. And we're like, wow, I never saw that coming. Like, or something will come on and it's a lot of people in the office, a lot of agents are like, that feels high. And then you'll see it sold. And you're like, what? What do I even know anymore? But I think what you have to do then is look at, for me, this is what I do. Same area you're in, hopefully, or very similar areas that are very close by. Recent sales, 0 to 365 days. So hopefully like a year, if even tighter, if we can get tighter, because the market changes so much and it's higher this year than it was last year. So we don't, we want to make sure that we're not looking back like 3 years. Well, that's going to be a whole other ballgame. And adding in like same style of house, a 2-story is a 2-story, a bungalow is a bungalow. We're not looking at 2 stories and bungalows and saying, well, in general, that mishmashes and sold. So what it's sold for. Now, what it's sold for, maybe we got some presentation of offers in there. So it's listed at $599. It sells for $645. We're looking at that sold price, right? That is what the market will bear. But we have to factor in what is our strategy when we're listing it. So are we doing a presentation? Are we just doing a straight up offer situation, sort of like normal sale? So if we're doing a normal sale, we might go at the higher end, closer to what that house sold for. But if we're going for a presentation of offers, the only reason why they got that is because they were priced just a hair more aggressively at $599. It got more people in to look at it, and those more people drove the price up themselves, right? So you kind of, people see that and they're like, well, my neighbor's house sold for $750. And you're like, yeah, but it was listed at $685. So if we list it at $750 and we ask for a presentation, people are going to be like, well, that's just freaking greedy. No, like you said earlier, we're just going to wait. Let's wait and see. We're just going to wait.
What's more stressful as a realtor and a seller? Is it better to be like, I'm putting it up for sale and I hope it sells within a day and it's going to be amazing? Or do you do the 4-day, 5-day waiting period? I don't know that I have the patience. The anxiety in me would be like, are we getting offers? Are the offers good? Can you tell me about the, I would not know.
How did it go? Jillian, how'd the showing go? How'd it go? How'd it go? How'd it go? I'm like, I don't, I'm not there.
And are you even allowed to say if you're getting offers, if you're doing presentation of offers? Like what's the difference there and what's less stressful?
Yeah, very good. So it really depends on the seller. So if you're a person, it does though, if you're a person who can tolerate thinking quickly, acting quickly, making those decisions quickly, you can do a straight up sale. Because you know what? The first person that shows your house might send us an offer and give us 2 hours to answer that. And we can definitely say, sorry, hit the ground, but they might then, that might be our only offer. Because what if then the next people come in and they're like, yeah, not really for me. And then we just got lucky. Chances are not, but that is a possibility. We can put them off and just say, we're not going to answer you for at least till 5 o'clock. Or I usually say like they're at work or they need some time to think about it or they need to get together to chat about it. You know, we try to keep them off for a while to allow some more showings to go through and make an educated opinion, or decision, excuse me. But there's that. If it's like a sale with lots of people involved, so if it's an estate sale or something, we want to, like, you might have multiple parties and like someone's in Ontario and someone's in BC and two are in Saskatoon and one's a doctor and one's a lawyer and one's a teacher. So like they might not have their phones all the time, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of have to decide, okay, what's our strategy here? If we all have to get in and have a group chat, let's do a presentation. We want to have, and I never do 5 days. That to me is insane. Like, are you kidding? I have to wait 5 days. I also would not. I'd be like, hey, no. Like, is anyone coming to the party? Is anyone coming to the party? That's how I feel whenever I put those on. Like, here's an invite to my party. Are you coming? Anybody? You know,
Being
so
fashionably late during like the sale of a home is not cool, man.
no.
But that's how
no,
fast
it's
the
not
market is
cool.
right now, that 5 days is an eternity.
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy. There's one up the other day that was almost a week, and I was like, dude, that's stupid. Like, for me, I do 3 days. Let's say list it Friday. You got showings all day Friday. Saturday, you got showings all day Saturday. Those are the people that got it Friday night. They got their email saying this house came on. They're going to go Saturday. Might be some of the people who went Friday going back for a second showing. And usually Sunday's pretty quiet. Like it's maybe half day, maybe. We meet on Sunday at 5 o'clock and write off or get our offers in. So I don't like doing them really long. It's not for me. I'm too impatient.
Okay. Final questions for you that I have.
Okay.
3 things any buyer should have ready when they're going to buy a home.
Yeah.
Must have.
there's
Not just should.
state of-
must have.
Must.
Open-minded state of mind. Number one. You know, you can't get discouraged if the first place you write on doesn't go. I always tell my clients, and it's usually just to the gals on the side, I'm like, it's kind of like dating. You know, you just don't marry the first man. It's okay. Another one will come along. We got this. We can do this. And it usually gets a good giggle, and we're like, okay, it's okay. And I've actually never had anybody buy a house and then say, oh man, but what about that first one? You know, they usually like something better about it. So, you know, chin up, we can do this. Let's get the right attitude. Second thing, obviously, your pre-approval. We need to make sure that you are with I personally love a mortgage broker, an independent mortgage broker, work really hard for you. They're going to get me that pre-approval letter and they're going to get their business done really fast. And the third one, I guess, is probably some cash for your deposit. That is something that I know you do have it, but a lot of people still have it in their RRSPs or TFSA or their home buyer's account, you know? So we should probably just make sure that we are ready and we can get that organized quickly. Yeah. A couple practical things and one that's just a little more on the mental side of things.
Whimsy. Must have it in there.
Perfect.
And I have a question as a seller, because Lindsay and I are both pet owners. What advice do you have to people who are selling their homes and they have animals? What do you do with them? That's like, and maybe a couple other tips for sellers.
Yeah, ideally, sellers will get their pets out of the house for them. We understand that that is not always viable for everybody to get their cats out, or, you know, I think any kind of rodent-y animal, like guinea pigs or any like gerbils and stuff. You can probably take their little carrier and take them with you.
Yeah.
There
Carry
are some
them
people that
around
are
for the
just
day.
in your purse for the day. Obviously, dogs, please take them out. People just react differently to them. There's certain cultures like dogs just a no-go, and their money spends the same, you know? So we just want to make sure that the house, and get rid of any evidence like cat litter, or if it has to be there, like it better be fresh, dog bowls, all that stuff. We love pets so much. But at the same time, we just want to make sure that that house is showing like it's cleanest, it's freshest, smelling everything. And we can get a little nose blind to our own pets sometimes. So carpets cleaned even, that would be really nice. But no extra smelly things as discussed earlier.
No sensey.
No sensies.
Unless it is the fresh paint candle that we have already trademarked. In which
TM.
case,
The Jillian Moore fresh baked candle.
fresh paint
Yes.
candle. I would request about 5% off the sales of that. We're just gonna throw that up there. But like, we'll negotiate later.
Tell me everything.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know
Perfect.
what?
Great.
That's going to be our first merch. We're going to
Yes.
sell
Wet
candles.
paint candle.
Wet paint candles. I don't know that anyone will burn them, but I feel like the novelty of them alone might make us $4.
Listen, there's some
Guys,
people out
if
there who love
Gwyneth,
those.
sorry, didn't Gwyneth Paltrow sell the My Vagina candle?
She did. Facts.
Sold out. Sold out. So I'm pretty sure we can sell a wet paint candle.
I feel like more perverts were buying that than like anything else, but you know what? There might
Hey.
be some people whose kink is wet paint. Maybe they spend their Saturday nights covering themselves in some, bear or whatever it is. That's
know
up to
what?
you, man.
The best prank in the world, though, would be lighting that candle in a house and having people come look at the house and wonder where the wet paint is. Like what you
Yeah, like-
can't touch, where you're just like, don't touch the walls. I smell wet paint. Like, don't touch the There's no wet paint. There's no
The
wet paint.
lies.
And it just looks so old. It's in fact like orange from cigarette smoke on the walls. Like I have been in houses where you can tell they've removed the picture. And
Yeah.
like there's a square.
Or
like,
the curio cabinet on the floor, the carpet's a different color because it's been there since
Absolutely.
1982 and has never moved.
Yeah, absolutely. Or different colors of carpet in every room. I love that. And we're like, what's in the discount bin? Oh, red. That'll go nicely with the green in the other room and the blue in the other room. Like, oh my
Parents
God, people.
had when they moved into the house that I grew up in before they renovated, their bedroom had red shag carpet. Only their bedroom. Only room in the house.
It's the
Were you
sexy room.
Red
Were you born yet?
shag. Yes. Brother and
Okay.
I both born.
Good point, though.
Can
Good
confirm.
point.
Can
Could have been
confirm.
special baby making carpet.
Girl,
That's
I was
why.
born 9 months and 4 days after my parents' wedding.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe they had to move and leave that carpet in there, and we're gonna you know what? Congratulations, to your parents, for having that.
I was
having
born
that
2
happen.
weeks early, so I can
Yeah.
literally pinpoint. Lucky
You're like,
me.
someone couldn't wait.
That's really
couldn't
creepy
Quite
that,
wait till the nuptials.
Lucky me.
It's true. Lucky us.
You ever take time to look back on when your parents decided to make you? Makes you question a lot of things. So
No, I don't want to know any of that.
We highly recommend it.
We do in every episode.
Yes.
And maybe if you're buying a house to take some of the anxiety down and to get that mind open, maybe therapy for that too.
Well, we do say that 90% of our job is being a therapist because we deal with a lot of emotions. Emotions are very heightened. We got money, we got, love of the house, the thoughts of family, all the things all combined, swirling together. And it's like, and make it happen. I'm like, okay, I got
And then
this.
you go home and you cuddle your cat.
Yes.
We do. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Jillian, thank you for telling us everything. And next time you have a crazy story that doesn't very specifically involve someone, we would love to have you back to spill that tea and tell us more of everything.
Okay. Well, I will write them down as all of us realtors always say we're going to have a book to write. So I'm going to send you that listing after this.
Yeah, I can't wait to see these Disney characters. If you have any questions for Jillian, feel free to hit up our socials, and we know that we'll make sure that Jillian is able to get in touch with you as well. Maybe she'll be able to also send you the pictures of those magical, whimsical Disney creatures. But until then, Jillian, enjoy the rest of your vacation. We very much
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Aw, thanks so much, gals. I had a great time. It's wonderful.